drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, vintage friends on my face, looking like I'm from the deep. These no Cartiers, pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a peep, bro. Whoa, whoa. I press the button and the doors go up like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip, neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib, neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick, neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the dip. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way. I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, yo, no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since the fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no, no, no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a bald head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go, go, go. Whoa, whoa. I press the button and the doors go up like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I press the button and the doors go up like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm a little bit naughty, I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run away from you. Come a little bit closer, yeah, yeah. Come a little bit closer, yeah. You're a little bit crazy. It's been days, but you never change. What's love got to do with it? He comes around, better knock that stuff down. Come a little bit closer, yeah, yeah. Come a little bit closer, yeah. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly, I'm too fly. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. You're a little bit selfish. You get mad every time you lose. You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse. Come a little bit closer, yeah. I can really start over, yeah. In the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure, yeah. I can finally start over, yeah. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly, I'm too fly. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Here's to the memories. Cheers to who used to be. Your friend said that you left me. I'm glad that's what you believe. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly, I'm too fly. Oh, bye-bye, bye-bye. U-G-L-I, that's how you spell goodbye. U-G-L-I, you'll never see me cry. U-G-L-I, that's how you spell it. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. celebrate, celebration, celebrate, 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 celebration, celebrate. Hey, what's your style? What you drinking? What's your vibe? I've been feeling rather sad in the corner of my class. Boy, what's your style? What you drinking? What's your vibe? I've been feeling rather sad. Oh yeah. Don't be mean. You're here all alone and you know it. Hang on, cause we're gonna turn it up. Don't you see? I'm here all alone and I like it. Baby, don't please try to fight it.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. It truly does not matter who the host is. You are listening to the Rated R Safety Show, but you already kind of knew that because that's why you're here. Anyways, we are streaming live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, of course. And you are being able to listen to us live on safetyfm.com, safetyfm.tv, or whatever your favorite streaming service might be, which is the cool part there. Anyways, we made it to another Friday, so that's important. We need to have that conversation right away. Any big plans for the weekend? Are you glad that it's over with? Are you outside of the quarantine portion? Because I know that there's still some places that are still kind of locked up. So that's the only reason I mention it, not to be a smart-ass, sarcastic, or anything along those lines. Not me, of course. Anyway, so today is Friday, June the 12th of 2020, day 164 of the year, and only 202 days remaining before the end of the shit show. But you know that, I know that, so let's get us started how we do it every day of the week, Monday through Friday, better saying, because that's the way that it goes, and let's get you started with some feature story news.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Delhi's state government's being accused of underreporting COVID-19 deaths. It comes as India eases lockdown measures and reopens its economy. Sriyoshi Mukherjee reports.
Doctors in hospitals across New Delhi claim that the fatalities from coronavirus are more than what the official numbers suggest. 3 civic bodies of Delhi say that there have been more than 2,000 funerals of patients with COVID-19, which is almost double the death toll released by the Delhi government. The statistics from 5 crematoriums in Delhi designated for COVID funerals did not match the data released by the government. This disparity in numbers has raised concern that the government is trying to hide the actual scale of India's COVID-19 crisis. In response, the state government said that it created a death audit committee comprised of experienced doctors who are working impartially to assess coronavirus deaths. The statement also mentioned the Delhi High Court, which declared the committee is working in an appropriate manner and that their work cannot be questioned.
A Gambian man's been charged in the US with torturing political prisoners in his home country after an attempted coup in 2006. Michael Sang Korea is part of the Junglers paramilitary group often described as a hit squad for former President Yahya Jammeh. The UK economy saw its largest slump on record in the first full month of the coronavirus lockdown. Official figures show Britain's GDP shrank 20.4% in April as shops and factories closed and workers were sent home. From London, Holly Hudson.
This is yet more proof of how COVID-19 and the lockdown has paralysed the UK economy. Gross domestic product GDP fell by a fifth in April, the largest monthly drop on record, 3 times greater than the decline seen during the whole of the 2008 economic downturn. The Office for National Statistics said the historic fall affected virtually all areas of activity. Not entirely surprising given the tight controls the government put on business and social life here to limit the spread of the disease. April was always going to be the worst affected month as the government began easing measures in May, but it's still a sharper contraction than analysts were predicting. Holly Hudson, London.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson will hold talks with EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on Brexit next week. Lucy Hoff is our correspondent in Brussels.
This high-level meeting will take place via video link on Monday, with Boris Johnson meeting with EU Council and Commission Presidents Charles Michel and Ursula von der Leyen. It comes after several rounds of virtual talks between the two sides during the coronavirus pandemic, which have seen major differences on key areas, although some signs recently that both sides could be willing to make compromises. The transition period is due to expire at the end of the year. The UK has repeatedly ruled out an extension. Lucy Hoff, Brussels.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So what do you think? You know how this goes. That's the news around the world as we discuss it here and have the conversation pieces. So that's something that you get to hear on the Rated R Safety Show. Before, of course, I do all of my butchering from time to time.
Duh.
Hey, don't need the add of sarcasm there. But you know how that works. We're going to go into it real time. But unfortunately, the way that it works as well, I have to give you the disclaimer.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So let's go over it all around the planet from the very, 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 very top of the hit list, because that's where we're going for here. So here we go. A&E has canceled live PD. We kind of knew that this was going to happen after especially seeing Cops being canceled, or at least being the announcement for it. So according to Variety, the decision was made after a camera crew filmed the death of a black man in custody by Austin law enforcement last year and deleted the footage. Yeah, you heard me there. Deleted the footage. A local paper reports this week that Javier Ambler died in March 2019 while being arrested by Williamson County Sheriff deputies in connection with traffic violation. The publication states that the 40-year-old black father of 2 sons lay dying on North Austin Street after deputies held him down and used tasers on him 4 times while the crew from A&E shows live PD was filmed. So what do you think? Cancellation of a show, death of a man occurring last year. It took over a year for the cancellation to come about. Do you think that the cancellation should have happened prior to then? Do you think that this is a conversation that should have happened last year? I'm just asking the question. Something to think about as these discussions are occurring more and more. And I know that here's the funny part, or interesting part. I shouldn't say funny. Most of the times inside of an organization, depending on where you're located, there's a lot of default things that happen that everybody wants the opinion of the safety person. So you, as a safety professional, might be involved with some interesting conversations as so. And I know you're going, well, how the hell does live PD have anything to do with it? It's a topic of conversation, and you are normally the default master of everything, or at least expected to be. So what is your feeling on it? How do you take a look at that information and make the determination from there? What's your opinion? Something to think about, because I'm sure the question will come your way, one way, shape, or form. Anyways, let's continue down the news here. The weight loss pill could finally be around the corner. Yes, I said weight loss pill. A protein named BAM15 has been shown to shut down the living cells inside of your body, which you may remember from middle school biology as the powerhouse of cells. By shutting them down, they're less efficient, meaning that they work harder to burn more fat. In its initial trial using by mice, yeah, you heard me there correctly, the protein showed that the animals are resistant of weight gain just by burning more calories at rest. Scientists are hoping to use the findings and technology to combat obesity worldwide. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the weight loss pill? How do you feel about having the conversations where the weight loss pill comes about and not doing the technical work of actually being inside of the gym? I shouldn't have shook that thing. About being inside of the gym and doing all the fun stuff there. Because I think that that's a subject of conversation that a lot of us don't normally have. What does that actually look like? Shouldn't you actually be doing some of the work inside of the gym? And don't get me wrong, I am aware that 80% of dieting and working out and all that kind of fun stuff and living a healthy lifestyle, 80% is diet. So yeah, will that play a factor? Absolutely. But there's been some other weight loss formulas, surgeries that haven't worked out well for some of the practitioners or people that were involved in it. So what do you think there? What is your thoughts? Duh. I mean, just some random things to think about as we move forward. Anyways, Thursday was a bad day for stocks. Over fears of the coronavirus resurgence, the Dow tanked 1,800 points, the biggest one-day sink in 3 months, and posting nearly 7% of its value. The S&P also nearly dropped 6% in total. Something to think about, of course, as we have this conversation.
Have we told you? Do you know about this?
We are looking for the next big safety podcast. This is the contest. Oh, yes, the contest. After producing and creating and interacting with several different artists, podcasters, and broadcasters, we want to offer to you the possibility of becoming the next big safety podcast. So what do you need to do? Right now, if you go to safetyfm.com/contest, that's safetyfm.com/contest, you have the possibility of being the next big safety podcast. You and your show could come onto the Safety FM network. For the next year, we will host your podcast on our servers. We will give you access to the Safety FM broadcast network, and of course, access to the Safety FM listeners. Come by to the website to enter. That's safetyfm.com/contest. You can enter in daily. This contest is only valid for the United States of America. Please look at contest rules on the website.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Of course it's something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, I started to lose the voice there, had a cough. So that's why you got to go to the little ad break there for a brief moment about the newest contest, or the latest contest that we're actually running here, that does come to an end on the 15th, just so you know. So Monday will be the last day of being able to take new participants for that bad boy, just so you are aware. Anyways, Venezuela is facing famine-level food shortages, not because there aren't any crops, but because farmers don't have the fuel to harvest them. It's worth noting that Venezuela is believed to have the largest oil reserves in the world, worth at least 300 billion barrels, but far-left politics have, in the recent years, driven the country into economic collapse. Bloomberg reports that half of the land being used for crops last year can't be replanted, and there will only be 1/4 of enough corn to meet the national demand. So holy crap, dude, you have enough stuff there sitting, but you can't actually work the farm. What are you thinking here? How does that work for you as you hear this? Is this something that brings interest to you, or you don't give a shit, or do you care? Because I think that this is something worth talking about. For sure. I mean, how do you look at it? I mean, you kind of have to look at it a lot of ways across the board on how different organizations and different jobs and different... I know this is country, but let's talk about it from a grander scheme of things, of how it affects you directly. Let's think about that for a moment. So, worldwide, or let's say countrywide, Venezuela here, having this major impact, how is this going to go throughout? How are they going to be able to recoup? How are they going to be able to change these things, especially if there's money there to be made? Do you think foreigners will step in and help out? How does that work? I mean, you already know some of the backstories about Venezuela, so let me not go too deep into that one, because you already know where I'm going.
More sarcasm than Mortal Kombat Beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, one COVID-19 study suggests that balding men are among the most susceptible to severe reactions on the virus. Several studies now point that troubling trend, but also show that treatments aimed at stopping baldness help alleviate symptoms. One study from Spain showed that 80% of patients in 3 Madrid's hospitals were also bald. While the information isn't conclusive, it does point researchers towards better treatment and a cure. So what do you think there with the baldies? I know I do fall into that club. Like I always tell people, I did originally start off by choice. Not so much now. That's when I started shaving my head many, many, many moons ago. But that's a different story. Anyways, Johnson & Johnson is expected to begin clinical trials of COVID-19 vaccine in mid-July. The company previously thought that they would begin in September, but have gotten regulatory approval for an accelerated review process. So that'll be interesting to see. Now, of course, you know, recently we did have a conversation about good old Johnson & Johnson about their talc powder.
Duh.
And how they were discontinuing it in Canada and in the U.S. So what do you think here? Do you think that this is something that will be something that you would use, especially knowing that it's coming from Johnson & Johnson? And I'm not picking on Johnson & Johnson. It is just a question. I would say if I did use Johnson & Johnson shampoo, but I don't. It's supposed to be tear-free, just in case you forgot.
Duh.
Anyways, let's continue. The European giant Lufthansa is downsizing. It will cut 22,000 jobs as a result of the pandemic. Most of them German citizens. That's about 16% of their 135,000 person worldwide workforce. The airlines has to negotiate the unions to finalize the severance, which they hope to wrap up by the end of June. So some other bad news right away on some different things that are happening with the economy and the world of travel. We knew that airlines, hotels, and anything that was normally oriented where you would have travelers was going to run into some small problems there. So we are seeing this more and more as it does come across the board. So I do want to make a quick reference to that because I think that sometimes we forget that some of those places that actually count on tourism, we're not realizing how much. Once again, amid the fears of the second wave of the coronavirus, the average 30-year fixed rates hit 2.94% on Thursday, the first time that they've gone below 3%. The decrease is largely attributed to a crummy day on the stock market, but we already kind of discussed that.
Duh.
So let's look at that. Well, like I always tell you, good old pal, Dave Ramsey, I say pal because I know him through his stuff, recommends the 15-year fixed mortgage, 20% down, as we've already discussed in the past, but something to think about. I know that I only gave you the information for a 30. Look into the 15. You'll be better suited in the long run. Despite stocks tanking on Thursday, Tesla is on track to become the world's most valuable car maker. There's $20 billion worth of value between Tesla's $190 billion market cap and the Toyota's $210.5 valuation, but Tesla has been up 23% from the start of the month. In association with Elon, by OnlineGambling.com has put together a model for future of human evaluation if we spend much more time binging TV and movie. They're humanish models are obese with red, bloodshot eyes, curled shoulders, and a lack of sunlight has led male pattern baldness for guys, and all the artificial lights makes for under eye bags and dull skin. You can take a look at these if you actually end up going to the onlinegambling.com portion and take a look at what the hell's going on there. Anyways, here we are. Let's go into the main story because I really want to get some opinions here.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So. Let's talk about it because I'm very, 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 very confused. Have you heard about Chaz? Yeah, Chaz. Yeah, Chaz. The new country.
Yeah, I didn't stutter.
Yeah, Chaz, the new country. Seattle Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone has been explained. So if you don't know what this is, let me go through it. The protest movement in the U.S. has led to the creation of the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. But what exactly is Chaz? So let's kind of look at it that way. It is the abbreviated version of Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. It is impossible to deny that the time that we're living in is immensely strange. So let's just be real there. Not only has the world been under the threat of COVID-19 pandemic, but their persistent and sustained protests following the death of George Floyd are starting to have some consequences. One of the most unexpected and unimaginable results of the protest movements can be seen in the U.S. city of Seattle, where they formed a new country. So protesters led to the creation of Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or Chaz. The northwestern city of Seattle has seen the fiercest clashes with police since Black Lives Matter protest movement began. As a result, the city force and local movement ceded ground to protesters on June the 8th, giving them the area to peacefully protest without a chance of violence breaking out between the police and the protesters. This has led to the creation of what is being known as Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or Chaz for short. So, what is Chaz? Food and drinks are provided for free from the No Cop Co-op, while protesters have also put a concert and an open-air film screening area. Meanwhile, however, there has been reports of crime and vandalism in the area. Barricades have also been erected, and the perimeter and images have emerged of more Chaz occupants carrying firearms, with some taking to a manning border points and acting like armed guards. So think about that, essentially a wall. Understandably, opinion in the U.S. is hugely split on what has been unfathomable development. The mayor of Seattle, Jenny Durkin, told CNN that the atmosphere inside of the autonomous zone is like a block party, and there is no threat right now to the general public. Excuse me. So let's talk about this real quick. Unsurprisingly, the information of the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone has been met with mixed reactions online. Donald Trump has taken to Twitter, as usual, to give criticism to the mayor. And here we go. The radical left and the mayor of Seattle are being taunted and played at the level of our great country has never seen before. Take back our city now. If you do not, I will. This is not a game. These ugly anarchists must be stopped immediately. Move fast. The mayor did respond back by saying, make us all safe. Go back to your bunker. Hashtag Black Lives Matters. So the future of Chaz remains to be up for debate. Campaigners present are calling for the area to be made into a permanent autonomous zone, while others, including the city mayors, are treating the measures as a temporary one until the furious protests die down. So what do you think? What do you think about this? So you're seeing this being it's actually being erected inside of the actual area there of downtown Seattle. So if this is something that takes place and ends up being established, do you feel or do you think that we'll start seeing more of these things? Do you look at it and go, there is a potential for these things to start popping up all over the place? And how will it be treated as a new country, as that has been worded there? Now, keep in mind that this is actually being something that's being developed now, so it's going to be difficult to answer a lot of those questions. But take a look at it, take a thought behind it, just look up the word Chaz or Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, and that way you can get some more information about it. Now, there is some limited information, and keep in mind that if you're doing a web search, the web search is going to give you the favor of whatever your previous searches are, so let's not be a little bit hesitant about that particular portion. But I do think that it is important for you to do a little bit of research to find out exactly what's going on.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of news. Fox News talker Tucker Carlson is losing advertisers in droves after publicly opposing protests that broke out across the nation in the wake of George Floyd's death. T-Mobile and ABC are two big-time spenders to bail after his comments on Saturday that called the protest Black Lives Matter's riots. So they have decided to remove themselves from him and his show on Fox News. Joe Biden is afraid that President Trump will steal his way to victory in November. It's my greatest concern, my single greatest concern, is what Biden said. The president is also going to try to steal this election, Biden said on The Daily Show. He didn't get into details on how Trump would perform that, but he said that there would be a voting heist. Something to think about as we do go forward with that. Just conversation pieces, because that's portion of the news in politics, which I normally don't like to talk about, but it seems like it's something that we're talking about more and more as of late.
Duh.
Anyways, a single winning ticket for Tuesday night Mega Millions drawings was sold in Arizona. The lucky winner has the option of taking $410 million jackpot or $316.8 million cash payout. As we did discuss yesterday, tonight's drawing will be for $20 million jackpot or a $15.4 million cash payout. There you go. A single winning ticket for Wednesday's night Powerball drawing was sold in Wisconsin. The lucky winner has the option of taking $22 million jackpot or a $16.7 million cash payout. Saturday's drawing will be for $20 million, as we just said right there. So just so you know, one more time. Anyway, so interesting stuff going on there. Dakota Johnson, that Dakota Johnson, 50 Shades, you know what I'm talking about there, has signed to star and produce in a new mockumentary TV series for Amazon Studios. Even though the news story does say Amazon Studies, I don't know why the hell it says that. The series titled Rodeo Queen will follow along a hopeful rodeo queen as they compete for the coveted crown. No word yet on who Johnson will play or when the production will begin. Something to take a look at as you move forward. Just for some information purposes, let's jump around real quick. Jason Derulo is going viral on TikTok. The singer shared video of himself trying to eat 22 hamburgers. 22 hamburgers in one sitting to celebrate the 22 million followers that he has. It sped up the clip. Derulo can be seen stacking up mounds of burgers and fries in preparation of this daring eating feat. So here we go. He attempted to put his money where his mouth was by attacking the meat mountain, but it hit the wall around burger number 9, where he says, I need a little break. I'm starting to feel a little crazy. After about 20-minute break, Derulo chows down on more burgers before he can be seen going to the bathroom and gagging over the toilet. After the puke break, he impressively inhales another 11 burgers, and he goes, I can no longer continue. The challenge got him about 1.7 million more followers. So all those people who want to be social media influencers, yeah, you know who you are. Go out there and do the burger challenge. I won't be surprised if I see that relatively soon. Anyways, let's continue. Megyn Kelly slammed HBO Max for pulling the classic film Gone with the Wind. The journalist tweeted, we going to pull all movies in which women are treated as sex objects too? Guess how many films we'll have left? Where does this end? She also sarcastically argued that the controversial shows and films that were going to get pulled then, Friends, Law and Order, Game of Thrones, must be taken down too. As previously reported, the streaming service announced that they would be removing the 1939 film over criticism that it romanticizes slavery. So just something to think about as we do move forward. Let's go into the world of sports real quick and talk about Tito Ortiz. That famous MMA fighter is looking to do a career change. The MMA legend recently told TMZ that he is considering making a switch to law enforcement. The UFC Hall of Famer told outlets that he'd be doing a lot of research lately and even has a police ride along coming up to help guide his decision. As for why he wants to uphold the law, Tito said that he wants a job that won't keep him excited. What? Let's try that again. Tito said that he wants a job that won't keep him excited, but also to serve the community. That won't keep him excited? How stupid is that? He added the growing up that he was told that cops are the bad guys. But as a grown man, he has realized that cops are the good guys, the ones protecting us, and they're there to help us without a doubt. We know this for the most part.
Duh.
So I don't know. Is he making some kind of political statement as he's saying that he's going to be doing this change? I guess that's something to take a look at or something to think about. So here we go. This is going to be major spoiler alert. I don't know how it's a spoiler alert, especially after 2007, but what the hell. So finally, if you have seen The Sopranos, there's always been some questions, so let's talk about it. Sopranos creator David Chase has finally spilled the beans about what happened at the end of the series finale when the screen abruptly goes black. He's long been intentional and ambiguous about whether Tony Soprano gets whacked or not, but now we know. During a roundtable discussion of the forthcoming book award-winning HBO drama, Chase let it slip on what really happened. Are you ready? One of the co-authors asked, when you said there was an end point, you don't mean Tony at Holston, the dinner. You just meant, I think I have 2 more years worth of stories left in me. Then came the bombshell. Chase says, yes. I think I had the death scene around 2 years before the end, but we didn't do that. That's when the co-author pipes. You realize, of course, that you just referred to that as the death scene. In the typical mafioso fashion, Chase replied, fuck you guys. End spoiler. So, something to think about. David Chase might have just let the cat out of the bag 13 years after the fact, but whatever you want to deem it there. Anyways, a Law & Order writer who got the boot wants a second chance. According to Page 6, Craig Gore, who was fired for threatening protesters with a gun on social media, would love the opportunity to be back on the show and tackle episodes about police brutality. But he says right now he just doesn't have the relationship with Dick Wolf. So something to think about as we do move forward. The Wendy Williams shows has been renewed for season 12. Following the news, Williams shared the production is waiting for word of New York State officials confirming that they can go back to filming in the actual studio. I guess she's tired from filming from her house. The show took a hiatus in spring due to the coronavirus pandemic. Williams was filming from her home, but then took another break due to symptoms of fatigue that was caused by her Graves' disease. So something to think about as we move forward. Anyways, we're going to do it today because, some people have asked for it, so we're going to do it. Let's do the 30-second countdown. The 30-second atmosphere. The 30-second let everything out that's been pent up, built up for you. So if you are following along, we will get you started here with doing the 30-second countdown. Here in the next few moments, we'll get you here on the screen. So if you take a look real quick, we got the 30-second countdown. I'll get that started for you in 3, 2, and 1. And that makes it 30 seconds. Hopefully you will get everything out of the system as you were trying to, because I think it's very important that we're getting all this anger and pent-up stuff out of the system in a constructive way. So let's hear what some of our friends have to say.
This is Feiger's Law.
Hi, I'm Jeff Feiger. People often ask me, why don't I just invest my money in Call Jeffrey commercials instead of discussing controversial issues? They ask me if I'm afraid that what I say will alienate people who might hire me or make enemies of powerful people who will come after me. I have fears like everybody else, and I know I've made a lot of powerful enemies. It's just that I love my country and my state and my neighbors more than I fear those things. In the end, love is the only remedy for fear. Love of country, love of our neighbors. It's what, to me, makes America great. And remember, if you don't stand for something, you end up standing for nothing.
Feiger Law.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's get you to a couple different things real quick, just in case, if you don't remember. We didn't talk about it yesterday, but we'll talk about it today before we get to the end here. Let's talk about if you're going through the thoughts of suicide or you're actually struggling from depression at the moment, there is a number that you can call. That's 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-273-8255. So I want to bring up those particular things to you, or you can go to the website for the Suicide Prevention, lifeline.org. I think that that's very important as we do have this conversation. Now, I want to make reference to this. I'm going to bring this up right now. I think that this is a very important subject that we need to discuss. I wanted to make sure that we left it towards the end of the show today. But today in Orlando is a day that we look at on something that occurred back 4 years ago inside of City Beautiful at the Pulse nightclub. And I would like to play this tribute for you.
Emergency 911, this is Joe on a recorded line.
Orange County was a transfer. It's going to be in reference to a shooting at Pulse nightclub.
Thank you, County. Hello, caller. This is I'm over here by Club Pulse in downtown Orlando. I was going over to the scene. I had an officer stop me, and he told me to call 911 and text my sister. She's inside.
Orlando Police Department, this is Tabitha. Your call is being recorded.
Yes, I live in Tampa, Florida, and my daughter just called me to tell me that there was been a shooting at Pulse nightclub. I don't know if y'all have gotten a call on that.
Hello? This is the police department. How may I help you? Yes, is anybody getting sent to Pulse? Yes, ma'am. We have the calls at Pulse. We have officers there.
Yeah. En el Club Pulse, en West Kelly Street, in the Bros Big Burger. Yeah, somebody shooting that club.
Yeah, we have a bunch of officers over there. Do you know where your son is? Is he still inside, or did he get out?
I understand there was an active scene going on down there regarding the shooting at a club that was nearby the Work Release Center. And I'm calling to see if that scene has been cleared. Because
no, ma'am, it hasn't.
Okay. I guess I'll call back in a little bit then to check. We don't want to let our inmates out until it's cleared.
Okay, thank you.
And this was the scene on June 12th of 2016 when the senseless act that occurred inside of the Pulse nightclub. It was a mass shooting that killed 49 people and wounded 53 more. This all occurred because someone did not agree with someone's lifestyle, their choices as a human being. They decided to do a senseless act that we can't even comprehend to this day. Although it's been 4 years, we can never forget what occurred on that night at the Pulse nightclub. Inside of our liner notes, we will list all 49 victims. Every human being is free to live their truth in a more understanding world full of love, unity, acceptance, hope, courage, and strength. Please consider supporting the One Pulse Foundation at onepulsefoundation.org.